Dr. Minesha here, and welcome to the I Am Free Work-Life Harmony podcast. It is such a pleasure every time I get the opportunity to hop on here with you all and spend a few minutes while you are on lunch break, driving in your car, or whatever you're doing. I am so honored that we get to connect during this time. I am elated to introduce to you my first and special guest, Miss Shanna Dooley. Shanna Dooley, thank you so much for coming on today. So good to have you.
Yeah, so good to be here.
So
Um,
I want you to introduce yourself just because nobody can introduce you really like you. So tell us just a little bit about yourself before we get started.
all right. My name is Shanna Dooley. As she said, I am married to the wonderful Michael Dooley for 11 years. And we have two beautiful children, Naomi and Gabriel. I am currently a stay at home mom, a work at home mom. And I
Right.
am working on my business, The Taste of Trinity, which is meal prep and catering events.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You were just the perfect person to start with, just because I feel that you represent so many other dope women like yourself. You are one of the most extraordinary people that I know, not just because of your achievements, but because of the person you are becoming each and every day. Just being able to see how intentional you are as a mother and a wife. You really have been the perfect example when I think about work life harmony and you being able to get the vision, see it and not just see it, but implement it, right? That's like the best part is you got to implement it so you can experience it. And we'll talk about that and how that's been, going for you. But before we do, I felt like it was really important, especially because this is the beginning of the podcast series, for those who are listening to get really clear about what is this I Am Free Work Life Harmony system, how did it get started, that whole thing. And I think that it's important to really build upon that story. So as we talk, people can really see that this truly is the solution to the problem. So before we can really dive deep into the solution, I want to spend some time just talking with you, Shanna, about the problem. Let's talk about the problem, right? Every woman knows when we say the problem. No offense to all the men who are listening right now, but there is this big red elephant in the room when it comes to women and the expectation of our roles. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we got here. And I really do believe that it started well back when men were going off to war and women were left in the homes doing the domestic work that we've always known to do, taking care of the home, tending to the family. That was our simple little role. And we did it really well, right? When I say we, I mean our generation,
Mhm.
did that well. We knew how to cook a mean turkey neck.
Mhm.
We took whatever that was given and we made it work, right? So I know that there's people that's listening from all over the globe, but we're talking about how the problem started in America, right? So there was a war that men went off to fight in the war. The women were in the homes. And after a while, there need to be people working in the factories. The economy had to move forward, right? And so that's how the women began to shift and move into the factories and move into the work. They were more domestic working roles, but nonetheless, by the 1900s, they were really moving into paid positions, right? So now that's where the gender roles started to get convoluted. Men came back into the home and they're like, okay, I used to have a very clear role and what that looks like. Now it's like the meaning of the man is now being diminished because I don't really have a purpose for real. Like I'm back here and now it was to provide for the home. Now you're doing that. Right? So that's when that problem I feel like really birthed. Would you agree with that? Just seeing how the problem really kind of created itself to now the woman is out in the workforce now with the man, then birth childcare, right? Because who's going to keep the kids?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now the childcare system is flourishing. And then on top of that, the feminist movement is happening. And then right after that comes the educational system. So now we're dealing with women now wanting to go back to school.
Right.
I can pursue and do and fulfill my dreams, right? I don't have to just be a mom who's cooking and cleaning, because now that role felt diminishing, because there's so much more to me, right? And there's women who feel this way now. There's so much more to me, and I do stand with that statement. But the problem is that it never really was taught. It never really was modeled how to truly do that without compromising the woman, without compromising the man, the husband, the head of the household, and the children. There was really never a model. It was kind of like the dispensations were just happening and we were playing catch up. And even in the 21st century, we're still playing catch up. You know how I know, Shanna? And you can tell me if you feel this way.
Go ahead.
But I know you're gonna be honest, right? If I don't know anybody's gonna be honest, I know it's gonna be you. This is why I had to bring you on here, because she's one of the most transparent, honest people that I know. In all of your extraordinariness, in all of your intentionality, do you have times in your life where you just feel dog right overwhelmed, stressed, underappreciated sometimes by the very people you love and that you're doing this for?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Tell me about that.
Well, I I have to say this in full transparency. Um, I do sometimes feel overwhelmed and all of that, for mom, wife, work, all of that. But some of it was self-inflicted
Hmm.
because it was almost like there was this secret gold badge that I got as a Black woman, that says, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be mom. I'm gonna be an awesome wife. I'm gonna, getting up early in the morning, staying up late, like wearing myself out and not asking for and not asking or holding people, even my husband, to a certain level of accountability, that I probably should have to get the help that I need because I can do it, you
That's
know.
so good. Let's sit there for a second, because we talked about the American culture. Now we're dipping into our culture, the African American culture. And this is just something I can speak to just because I'm an African American woman. And when you said, it rings so true to me, is that we feel that we have to be this superwoman, and that our brand has been strong mama, strong, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And we feel this unconscious, desire to fulfill this, you know what I'm saying? and
right.
and what I found is that what that has did is created a sense of trauma and caused us to have to move into workaholism and doing too much, and feeling like asking for help is a weakness, you know?
Yeah,
So I know you have your small baby in the background, and
yes.
I can tell that you see, I've been doing this for too long. So let us know if you need to put on the mommy hat. Okay.
Okay.
I will
I,
give you permission to do that. If you need to put on the mommy hat,
okay.
you can put it, you can let us know, and our production team will take the video off so you can make sure your baby's settled, and
Okay.
we will work around it.
All
Okay.
right.
Don't feel
Okay.
any type of way by that.
Okay.
So yeah, so I truly believe that that is true, and that's something that we do for sure. So we have two problems happening simultaneously that's creating other problems, like having a issue and then you have these symptoms going on. You know,
Right.
you're dealing with something and then you have all these symptoms that have to be addressed. That's what's created now in the 21st century, right? And then
Right.
it's almost like this competitive vibration that has come between the man and the woman now, you
Absolutely.
know? And then now men are trying to figure out, can I be with a woman who makes more than me? Now the average woman makes more than me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everything is starting to get more and more convoluted. Now the woman is coming home and she's just as dog tired as the husband,
Absolutely.
but she's expected to put on dinner, tend to the kids, give the baths. You see what I'm saying? And so this is why these type of conversations are what I call conversations that matter. And I believe that especially women, we need to be able to first understand that expectation is not normal,
Right.
and that you need to, it's time for you to use that voice to do what you said, ask for help, right? Raise your hand and say, listen, I'm here to be that helpmate. I'm here to support you, but I'm
Right.
going to need XYZ. This is why it's important for us to have that self care piece so that we can know what we need. Do you know that we're constantly going and going and doing and doing and doing, that we never get a chance to sit in our beingness?
Mm.
And we're human beings, not human doers. And so a lot of times men are like driving themselves crazy because some men are willing, but we can't even articulate what we need for
What
real
we need. Right.
because we're so on autopilot that we haven't paused long enough to figure out what is it that I really need when I'm going through this season in life, because there's patterns, right?
Right.
Time of year, this is usually happening. This is what I'm needing. When I'm feeling this way, this is what I'm needing. When I'm at this meter of frustration and upset, I don't want to talk at this point. At this point, this is what I'm needing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That takes introspective work. And who is doing introspective work when we're too busy running around doing everything for everybody? You see the problem?
Yeah. One of the things that me and my husband did a couple of years ago was sat down, and it was a very hard conversation initially, but we sat down and we really talked about our strengths and our weaknesses just as human beings. What are the things that I do well, that you know period, and what are the things that you do well? And through that we begin to have conversations about how we can implement that within our family, so that we're not looking at, because he's the man, he's doing this, because I'm the woman, he's doing that, whatever. But we start to lean on our strengths and our weaknesses so that we can put forth the best action, what I'm saying, for our family, and that has helped tremendously.
I love
Um,
it.
but
Let me just emphasize something right there because in the first episode, I broke down the 3 steps to the work life harmony system. And as you know, that first step is boundary.
right.
And so, as you were just talking, what I was saying to the audience is that eventually, as we keep bringing guests on, they're going to be trained to listen to boom, there's the boundaries, there's the organization, there's a sustainable system.
Mm,
What you just spoke of was you and your husband sat down and you all discussed the boundaries. That's what was going on, right?
yeah.
You were saying, hey, this is what's been going on. This is what we need to start doing. This is
Yeah.
what we need to stop doing. And this is what we need to what?
Continue. There
That's
you
right.
go.
The
Yeah.
SSP method. So we're gonna break these different things down because this is a part of that work life harmony flow. So
Right.
let's shift gears just a little bit. And I want to hear, and I know everybody else who's listening wants to hear, you had the opportunity to actually implement
Mm,
the work life harmony system. And really, it was a fragment of it because it was a way for you to get a taste of what it could be like to live and lead differently. It was a 90-day fragment of our system that you were able to implement in your own life. Please tell us, give us all the juicy details, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Because I know that in the beginning it's not easy. But
right.
tell us your experience.
So one of the things that I admire the most about Dr. Minesha is that whatever it is you believe or desire to do, she's like, yeah, we can do it. What do we need to, it's like there's no, yes, we like there's always a strategy on how to move forward and how to do it. And for me, what work life harmony did for me was allow me to be intentional about myself. And I was able to see how, in neglecting myself, I was really neglecting my family. And I wasn't even giving them the best that I could give them. And that honestly, it broke my heart. It broke my heart to see that all of this time, I think I am working hard to give them everything that I got. But there's this big piece of self care, of health that I'm missing in trying to serve them. And I'm not even serving them well. I'm not even serving them well. So being intentional in those 90 days and checking off, the boxes, having, first of all, sitting down and actually writing down, okay, what things are going to help support me? What things do I need? That was difficult because I don't know what I need. I don't know what self-care things that was like foreign to me. I mean, get a massage, like that was kind of where that was for me versus actually thinking about, just little stuff, I'm saying, like, okay, spend 10 minutes reading or journaling every single day. Make sure that you're walking every single day. Like little things that, that just after you collect all the 10 things out of this whole day, I've spent more time in the 90 days than I have in my entire life pouring into myself. And that says a lot. Um work life harmony, even when it pertains to my child, what she's able to see, my oldest daughter, because my youngest is one, what she's able to see me do now can naturally trickle onto her because she sees as a lifestyle. It's not something that, I'm just working hard trying to, no, it's become what I'm living, how I'm living. And in that, she's able to see me model something that now she can just, work life harmony is just, that's just what she knows, and that's all she knows because she's getting that piece from me, and I'm instilling that within her. And those are like precious jewels that I believe if I would have grabbed a hold to something like this at her age,
Mm.
there's
Wow.
I can't even fathom where I would be right now. You know what I'm saying? If I really had the understanding of work life balance, work life harmony, like the importance of it and how
Yeah.
I can implement it in every piece of my life.
Hmm. That's powerful. So we're gonna balance is a bad word on this podcast. So what we need to do is every time we have a guest, I'm telling the production team, every time we have a guest that uses the balance, we're gonna have to come up with a little sound, or some kind of horn or something that just so that we could literally move away from the idea
From
of
that.
balance. Because
Mm,
really what it is it's saying, I'm going to take everything in my work and I'm going to balance it out with my friends, my family, the things I love most, my self-care.
mm,
Can you really balance the two? They're not even equivalent. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And so it's a fallacy. It's a false pursuit. And so that's why I use the word harmony because it's a ebb and flow. It's a blending that's
A
taking.
blend, yeah.
And what
That's
I
good.
what I really loved is when you said that you get to create this new normal. And what's happening is that you're moving from the only two states that a woman should move in. And that is the state of being and becoming.
Mm,
And becoming. Right now, the average woman is doing, 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 doing this. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. They wake up in the morning with their to do list, right? And so we want to live and lead differently. So a woman who's living and leading differently, they're not leading in the state of doing. They're leading in the state of being. And that's why that journaling and that introspective work and that meditation and starting your day and that flow and that rhythm is so paramount to creating that beingness because it keeps you present. And
right,
literally in that work life harmony system, there's a question you ask yourself in the morning where you're like, who am I going to be today? And you're choosing the state of beingness that you're going to walk in. So, yes, you have all these characteristics that make up who you are, and that's beautiful. But each day you get to like emphasize which one am I going to spotlight today? Mine is joyful. So, I'm a joyful person naturally, but today
mhm.
make sure that I spotlight that characteristic.
Intentional.
I'm
Hmm.
intentional about being joyful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And so each day you are nurturing this state of beingness. And you're asking yourself, how can I be more peaceful? How can I be more patient? How can I be more, and you're being intentional about showing up in that beingness. And as you do that each day, that's what's creating a new person, which is
right.
causing you to become someone new, you know? And that's why I can say, even with you, you have become someone new. The person you were even 90 days before you started that challenge to the person you are now is not the same person. Would you agree?
100%.
I mean,
100%. One of the things that in the beginning I struggled with was the idea of self care made me feel selfish.
hmm,
I felt like it's not about me, and that's my whole thing. You know, that's my thing. This life is really not about me, but it's about what I can give, what I can, bring. And so taking this time to focus so much on me, I felt selfish. And the analogy that I got was that it's almost like if I'm sick, let's say I'm sick and I am, it starts off as like a little call for a little, whatever. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't have time to be sick. So I ignore it because I have to, take care of my kids. I have to, do this for my husband. I have to do this work for, and so I'm ignoring the sickness. Eventually, what's going to happen? I am going to be at a place where I am no good for anybody, and I can't even move because now the sickness has completely overtaken me.
wow.
Versus if I would have started whenever it felt just like a little trinkle, if I would have started taking some vitamin C, getting a little bit, 30 minutes rest, going for a little walk, doing little things each day to feed and nurture that quote unquote sickness, I wouldn't be down and out and I'll be able to give more. So once I got the revelation that if I spend more time on me, that creates an opportunity for me to give more to other people, it was a game changer.
Wow. Woo! That's what I call a pause moment, y'all. Sometimes we move too quick in conversations that we missed it. I need to pause so we can digest what you just said. So good. So good. And for those of you all, even in this pause, is feeling uncomfortable, you need more pauses in your life because there's nothing powerful than a good pause to digest what we are experiencing right now in this moment. And I love the illustration. And I tell that to women all the time. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is not selfish. So they can literally embed that in their
Mhm.
system because it is really easy to feel that way. But the way in which you describe that, I don't think I could have came up with a better analogy
Mm,
because that's exactly what's happening. And then you're no good for anyone at
right.
that. So that's so beautiful that you shared that. Talk to me a little bit about the challenges when you first learned the system, and you're going the first couple of days with it. How was that, and how were you able to overcome those challenges?
Honestly, when I first started, I was like, I honestly did not think I would be able to get to a place where I was able to do all the things. And, because you list out the things that, you want to, or, that you want to conquer that day, and I didn't think I was going to be able to actually check off all the boxes and do all the things. Like, there's no way I can spend this much time investing in myself. I got stuff to do. That's what I said. Me and my daughter. That's our little saying. I got stuff to do. You know, that's our little thing, and that's how I felt. I got stuff to do.
To do.
And so I honestly, I was like, however, when you have a great accountability partner,
Mm.
it makes a world of a difference, and I think that for me, just taking it step by step and not being so overwhelmed by what I wasn't doing, but celebrating the things that I was doing. Because I might not have gotten all the checks and all the things down at one time, but I was able to do a couple of things each day. And then gradually, because I am a systems person, my to-do list and all, I just work that into, harmonize that into um my my day, and then slowly but surely I begin to just, God just gives strategies on how to do it, and just keep going. I think that's one of the biggest things. Don't stop because you're having a difficult moment. Keep going. My
Absolutely.
sister actually is the person that, that talked to me about a weight loss. She was like, listen, the only thing that's going to stop you from losing weight is if you stop trying. You have to keep going. Even when you have tough moments and when you fall, just keep going. And so just keep going. That was my thing.
I love it. And you know what? The thing that I love that you said is that even when you hit those challenges, because it's going to be hard in the beginning until it becomes easy. And
Right.
you literally see that. And once you hit that easy part, that's where you hit that state of becoming.
Right.
Then you choose the next level. And then you keep operating. So you literally feel and experience yourself elevating.
Right.
It's so powerful. The things that you're like, dang, just 120 days ago, I was looking at this like this was impossible for me to do. Now I'm doing this thing like second nature. And
Yeah.
you're putting those key things that matter most to
Right.
you, that matter most to you. And that's the key. And that's why I love it, because it's not a cookie cutter, one size fit all. And one of the quotes that I think about, one of my favorites, is Abraham Lincoln, where he says, if I was giving a tree 6 hours to chop it down, I'm sorry, 8 hours to chop down a tree, I'm going to spend 6 hours sharpening my axe. Right?
Mm,
So that's what you're doing. When you are putting that system together and you're doing that front work where you're identifying what is it that you even consider to be self-care to you, what are those things, and you're doing that introspective work and you're putting the systems in place, that is you sharpening your
mm,
axe. So when it's time to go and do life and to chop down that tree, and I'm saying, and get these unexpected things that life, when life is lifing, you
mm.
you are equipped. You are in the
Right.
right headspace to respond. Most of us women, we're reacting because we don't have the proper boundaries, organization, and sustainable systems to undergird us. So we're
Right.
reacting here, we're reacting there. But now what this does is it gives you an armor. It puts an armor so that you can live and lead and navigate through this life in a way where you're confident, where you're clear, you understand your vision. That's the first part of the process, getting clear on the vision.
Mm-hmm.
The last time you revisited your vision. Another thing that I find that women do too, Shanna, is that, I don't know if you noticed this when we got a chance to really kind of comb through the vision, is they look at vision one dimensional. So when I look at your vision, I should see all 8 domains of leadership, is what I call it.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Most
Mhm.
people, they're looking at their vision and they're just talking about their business. Are they just talking about themselves? But know that there's other areas. And even the best of the best leaders are only living and leading in about 5, maybe 6 of those areas. But the 8 domains of leadership, we talk about the self care piece, we talk about the wealth building piece, how are you creating legacy, how, the actualization piece. We're going through all 8 domains and we're building a
Feels
solid
it. Yeah.
vision with all of those elements as our foundation, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm just excited because when you were able to implement the work life harmony system in your personal life, and I was able to see how well you digested the information and you did what I call peace driven performance, right? It's not one of those things where we're like checking off, check. Oh my God, I didn't check off my list. And you're rushing to try to. No, it doesn't create any of that. What
Mm-mm.
we're doing is we're creating a spirit of peace. Like she said, you gracing yourself, right? You're not holding on to some some badge that somebody gave you or gave your great grandma, being this strong Black woman who just, or being this strong woman, who has to XYZ and always look polished all the time, never
Mhm.
miss a beat. That's unreal.
Yeah. I I'll say this on one of the last for me, one of the things that I learned the most was whenever it's the comparison thing, there was a level of comparison that was difficult for me to overcome because I was looking at other people. So it's almost like you have both of y'all have a toolbox and you have the instruction. Both of you have instructions. You have all the materials. And I'm so busy looking at how yours is going. I didn't
Mm.
even stop to open mine because in my mind I'm thinking, okay, I'm not as smart as her. I don't think I can do all of these before I even open up the instructions to see what I
Mm.
can do. And then finally, once I open up the instructions, I see, wait a minute, this whole thing is a recipe to cook. So mine is not even the same as hers. Hers is, I thought mine was the same as, it was not even the same. Mine is tailor made for me. And it's a recipe thing and it's easy. And I've wasted all of this time in awe looking at this other person thing and not focused on what I have going on versus celebrating what they have going on while I'm doing mine and us just winning together.
Yes, that's so good. Let me tell you, this system, that's why I say living and leading differently, because you will learn so much about yourself through this process, right? You will learn so much about yourself and you'll be able to call those things out. The community that we have together in the stressless universe is so powerful because we're on that Facebook community and it's called Step into Freedom Now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a private Facebook community, and we're putting receipts in there. So if we're
Mm-hmm.
walking and we're working out, we're posting it. If we're doing our food, we're posting it. If we're at a personal development conference or something like that, we're spending quality time with our family. We are showing the receipts of what it means to live and lead differently, to be a boss in your business
Yes.
arena, and not to compromise yourself and your family. That's what we call good success, right? In the kingdom where we can be truly dope. To me, when I see she is still dope, that's what's dope to me. An extraordinary woman who was focused on her calling after God. She knows what she's supposed to be doing. She has a conviction, right, to do what God called her to do, so she can hear
Right.
those words, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." And she did not pursue those things, and she did not enlarge her territory on the backs of her family, but she was intentional. She was intentional about creating an environment where she can flourish as her husband flourished, as her children flourish. This work life harmony system has systems inside of it that helps you be intentional as a mom, helps you be intentional with your children and the things that you're seeing in your children, the prayers that you need to have. It allows you to be present because while we are too busy building businesses and working these pay bills and to survive through life, our children are slipping through the cracks. I almost slipped. I've seen my brothers and sisters slip. I've experienced clients whose children has fallen through the cracks because they're distracted. So if you're listening to this right now, please understand that work life harmony is not something you find. While you're busy finding it, you're wasting time because you should be creating it. Work life harmony is something you create. And if you're listening to my voice right now, then it's time for you to know that this is your moment to create it. Subscribe right now to our podcast, our Work Life Harmony podcast. Now is the time to subscribe. Make sure your notifications are on so you can always see interviews with beautiful people like Shanna Dooley. Thank you so much, Queen, for coming on with us and sharing just your experience. You are truly an extraordinary person,
Amen.
right? Not just a mom, not just a wife, not just a business owner. A lot of times we identify ourselves by our roles. You are an extraordinary woman. You are dope. Don't let anybody tell you differently, right? And everybody who's listening, keep flourishing in your greatness. I look forward to connecting with you again on the next podcast. Bye bye for now.